has now admitted was not standard operating procedure. And he actually, this is the sickest part of it, bragged that he ordered it anyway because he thought he could get away with it. This is what we've been telling you. Abuse of power, corruption, not rank and file FBI, the highest levels at the FBI and the DOJ. It shows you this. Week one of the Trump administration, the fix was in from day one. Watch this.
You look at this White House now, and it's hard to imagine two FBI agents ending up in the sit room. How did that happen?
I sent them.
By the way, you don't have to say legend. Has now admitted
probably wouldn't have done or maybe gotten away with in a more organized investigation, a more organized administration, in the George W. Bush administration, for example, or the Obama administration. The protocol, two men that all of us have perhaps increased appreciation for over the last 2 years. And in both of those administrations, there was process. And so if the FBI wanted to send agents into the White House itself to interview a senior official, you would work through the White House counsel, and there'd be discussions and approvals, and who would be there. And I thought, it's early enough, let's just send a couple guys over.
I wouldn't have tried. I wouldn't have gotten away with this in a prior administration. Really? This is week one of the Trump presidency. Isn't the name of Jim Comey's book A Higher Loyalty? Wouldn't that be to the United States Constitution, the rule of law, equal justice under the law? Does that sound like a virtuous public servant to you, or someone trying to trap Lieutenant General Flynn? From day one, this is how these corrupt officials, again, not rank and file, treated a duly elected president, his first week in office, a 33-year, three-star veteran hero, 5 years in combat. And here we have James Comey fired for mishandling the Clinton investigation. He, too, wanted Hillary to win. Andrew McCabe, he set up the meeting on the phone and said, you don't need a lawyer, fired by the FBI for lying. And one of the agents meeting with Flynn, Peter Strzok, of course known, fired for his rampant anti-Trump bias. In other words, the three main people initially involved in the Flynn case have been fired. Think about that. One day after learning about the shady interrogation tactics from the FBI, well, there's a judge, U.S. District Judge named Emmett Sullivan. He has now ordered the special counsel to turn over all of the government's documents related to this questioning of General Flynn. By the way, by tomorrow. A rare move from a federal judge, which brings us to a shocking new development. The federal has pointed out something that was brilliant. What could be, in my mind, a major bombshell inside the Flynn sentencing memo. They pointed out footnote 23. Footnote 23 references the 302 memo of August 22nd, 2017. Flynn's interview was in January the 24th, 4 days into the presidency. Flynn's interview with the FBI happened way back when. Now, here's the problem. Flynn's interview with the FBI on January 24th, 2017, the 302 is written 7 months later. Now, in text messages, unfortunately, for Peter Strzok and Lisa Page, they seem to reference Flynn's interview, his 302, being completed on February 14th. And meanwhile, James Comey, he references reading this 302 before he was fired in May. So the question remains, why was a new 302 drafted in August by the special counsel? What information had changed? Can it be trusted? Was there an earlier 302 memo? Were there revisions in the memo? And is there a smoking gun here? Either way, we deserve answers. Now, tomorrow by 3 p.m., U.S. District Judge Emmett Sullivan could have the answers to all these questions. That's how long he's given the special counsel to turn over these documents related to the FBI's interview of Lieutenant General Michael Flynn. This is the same judge who dismissed the corruption convictions, 8 convictions, of Republican Senator Ted Stevens after discovering rampant misconduct from federal prosecutors in that case, including what he called a blatant attempt to withhold exculpatory evidence. Now, we have been pointing out, it's important to note, that the lead prosecutor in the special counsel investigation, Mueller's pit bull, Andrew Weissman, We talked a lot about him and Jeannie Ray, who worked for the Clinton Foundation. But Weissman in particular, he's the pit bull, has quite a track record with exculpatory evidence. In the case of Anderson Accounting, the Supreme Court, remember, overturned Weissman's prosecution 9-0. Doesn't happen that often. In the case of 4 Merrill executives who went to jail for a year, the Fifth Circuit Court of Appeals overturned those convictions. Whole year of their life gone. After Weissman was also rebuked for what? Withholding exculpatory evidence. Why would Mueller ever hire that guy? Now, tonight, whatever happens in the case of Lieutenant General Flynn, the damage is done. Legal bills have cost this man his home, wrecked his finances, destroyed his impeccable reputation, 33 years in the military, 5 years of combat duty, tours in Iraq and Afghanistan. Here's our question tonight. Is this how we are going to treat American servicemen and women, war heroes? Because if it is, nobody's safe. This is not how a fair justice system is supposed to operate in a constitutional republic. Instead, this is the sad part to me, everything we've been telling you about for nearly 2 years, we are facing a two-tier justice system where anybody apparently associated with Trump is going to be targeted. Democrats, they seem to always get off scot-free. And that, of course, includes Hillary Clinton. But breaking today, we learned some damning new information about her bought and paid for dirty dossier. You know, the law firm that hired Christopher Steele, well, the law firm actually funneled money to the Fusion GPS, the op research group, to put the seedy document together. That was Perkins Coie. Well, he considered using Christopher Steele, the findings to challenge the 2016 election results in court. That's why he was doing it, which makes yet another way Hillary Clinton was planning to use the dirty dossier to rig the election after the election should she lose. And of course, this was all done with the money funneled through a law firm as a legal expense, not a political expense. Sounds like campaign finance issues. A lot of people in the media are interested in that topic, but not with Hillary. Yet no investigation into that campaign finance violation. The question we all have to ask ourselves is why? Now, it should be obvious. Her last name is not Trump. She's not anyone who supports Trump. So she has a whole different justice system, one that Trump supporters don't have. We'll have a lot more on this later, but also tonight. Once again, Democrats continuing to play politics with our nation's security. President Trump is standing strong, calling out the far left's border hypocrisy. Watch this.
Fact is, they've always supported fences and walls and partitions, but you know what? They only don't want to do it because of me. We need to have the wall. We need border security. Whatever it takes to get border security, I will do it. We've done a really fantastic job with what we have. We can do an almost perfect job if we have the wall and proper border security. And that's what we're going to do for the American people.
It's really stunning. Democrats say they want border security. They sounded like Donald Trump in the Obama years, but when it comes to making it happen, they stonewall, they deflect, they distract, they reveal their true open borders agenda. Now, despite overwhelming evidence, the walls actually work. Just this week, the Department of Homeland Security released new details on the progress that we have made since President Trump got into office on the border barriers in California, Texas, explaining that as of November 21st, 2018, Customs and Border Protection, they have constructed more than 31 of the 40 miles that were authorized by Congress last year. The remaining 9 miles scheduled for completion soon, adding that, quote, the bottom line, walls work. When it comes to stopping drugs, illegal aliens across our borders, border walls have proven to be extremely effective. Take a look at the before and after photos from the DHS of the El Centro border in, well, there you can see Southern California. And while those are encouraging results, there's a lot more to do, which is why the president is forging ahead with his demand for $5 billion to fully secure our country. It's a national security issue, make people safe on both sides of the border. We learned of a horrible tragedy tonight. A 7-year-old girl from Guatemala died of dehydration and shock after crossing into the U.S. illegally with her father in the remote New Mexico desert. It's like I have been saying over and over again, a wall can prevent these types of heartbreaking stories once people know they can't get in. They're not going to come. It's a treacherous journey, dangerous. They ran out of food and water apparently for days before she crossed into this country. A tragedy that can be avoided. It's also an issue of national security. We're also learning a suspected terrorist is the one leading the group of Central American migrants demanding 50 grand in reparations from the U.S. each to return home. His name is Alfonso Guerrero Oloa, is suspected of the 1987 bombing in Honduras that wounded 6 American soldiers. And of course, as I've said many times, look, most people I'm sure come here because they want more opportunity for themselves and their family, but a wall with a big door is the way to do it. We'll do it legally for everybody. Now, they want a better life. But even if illegal immigrants, with the best of intentions, it comes at a major cost to you, the taxpayer. Look at this recent study. For each illegal immigrant that does successfully cross our border, well, it costs you, the American people, 70 grand per year. The fact is, we must have the ability to, A, vet anyone that wants to come into our country for our security, and now more than ever, we need a border wall. Common sense strategy actually works. The safety and security of the American people should always be a top priority for any U.S. president. Don't let the media, by the way, scare you about a government shutdown. Most of the government stays open. They don't shut down, including employees essential to national security, health, safety. Even the Postal Service will stay open. And yes, Grandma and Grandpa will get their Social Security checks. And I'll tell you one other thing. I will support anyone that's furloughed. They should get their full back pay. They should not be victims of what is a serious, important battle over our national security. And this holiday season, with so many